Hello there, students. Thank you for being part of this presentation today. And our focus is U.S. government, United States government, and we're doing the last unit. In this case, Unit 5, Economics, and we're doing the government and the economy tutorial. Please make sure that you are taking notes as you're reviewing this tutorial, because those notes will help you answer the questions that you will encounter during this tutorial. And our lesson objective is that you will examine the role of government in regulating the economy. Let's move on. This is page 12 of the government and economy tutorial. And you basically have to answer a question here, which is, what are the pros and cons of globalization and free trade? Please make sure that you're familiar with the concept of globalization and also free trade. You should have seen this one or these concepts in the previous tutorials and also in the previous slides of this tutorial. If you are still unsure, you can research it online. Just make sure that you are using your own words to answer the question. You should give us a good paragraph here that will explain the concept of globalization and free trade. In this case, the pros and the cons, the good and the bad of both concepts. Let's move on. We are now on page 19 of the government and economy tutorial, and we're working on the lesson activity. And this is for fiscal policy. And let's go over the directions so you'll know what to do here. Read the instructions for the self-check activity, type in response to each question, and check your answers. At the end of the activity, write a brief evaluation of your work. And let's read the activity part here so that you can answer this. Though it wasn't always this way, the U.S. government today funds many services and programs that make citizens' everyday lives easier. Whether it's improving roads, providing a police force, or offering public education, government-funded public programs exist across the United States. Read this article. Please make sure you click on the link so you can read this article, because this actually will help you in answering these questions also. Read this knowledge article on public programs in U.S. society. While reading the article, consider the role of the government in providing public funds or programs in this case. And part A says, consider what you read in the article. Do you think the benefit created through public programs outweigh their expense? Please remember that the public programs are also being funded by taxpayers, because many times taxpayers are paying for those public programs. So in reality, it's not that the government is just giving that money away, but you're paying for it. For example, Social Security. You will get Social Security eventually when you hit a certain age, but you're paying for it. It's not like the government is giving it to you for free. So please provide a good response here by giving us a good paragraph. Part B. What level of government has traditionally been in charge of education? Please make sure that you provide your answer here. Which department of government is responsible for education? Part C. The article mentioned that schools are funded by property taxes. What might be a possible issue with this setup? Please make sure you go back to the article and make sure that you are answering these questions. Because obviously, as a taxpayer, as a homeowner, people have to pay taxes, and it's a lot of money that's paid on a monthly basis for taxes, and those taxes are part of what funds public education. Part D. According to the article, what were the main controversies about the No Child Left Behind? Please make sure that you're familiar with this legislation, No Child Left Behind, passed during George Bush presidency, and explain what's going on. Please provide a good paragraph also here. Part E. According to the article, what are the pros and cons of school voucher programs? Again, go back to the article and go back to what you have read on the previous pages of this tutorial to get this answer. We're looking for a good solid paragraph here also. Let's move on. We are now on page 27 of the government and economy tutorial, and we have another lesson activity here about history and impact of economic policy. Let's read the directions here. Read the instruction for this self-check activity, type in your response to each question, and check your answers. At the end of the activity, write a brief evaluation of your work. Please make sure that you're reading this activity part directions here, and that you're going over this the pros and cons link, and also whether patent stifle or encourage innovation. Make sure that you read these articles and take notes. They will help you answer the questions. Let's go to part A, and it says, what is the primary importance of benefits 1 and 2 as discussing the pros and cons patent? Again, you have to read these 2 articles or links, and they should give you a good answer for this question. We're looking for at least a solid paragraph in which we explain the good and the bad, basically, of patents. Part B, the pros and cons of patents, addresses several costs of obtaining a patent. According to the section Cost 3, what problems might arise when patents are too narrow? Again, please make sure you go back to the article to answer this question, and you need a good solid paragraph here. Part C, according to the expert, does the patent system encourage innovation? What is a key problem with companies pursuing patent, specifically to hinder or prevent competition? Very important question here. You should have a solid response here with a solid paragraph, because patents, according to this, are not always good. And if, especially those companies that, have the money to come up with inventions, they could actually hinder everybody else that's trying to do something, maybe with similar ideas. So make sure that you provide a good paragraph here. And lastly, part D. Write a 2 to 3 paragraph response discussing whether you think the patent system is useful and beneficial. Why do you think the patent system is or is not working? What measures could be made to improve the patent system? Outline an argument that supports your thoughts. Use information from the articles to support your claim. Please make sure that you have, and I would highly encourage you, at least 3 paragraphs. You have an introduction, a body paragraph, and a conclusion that answers these questions here. Please use your notes, and if you have to use internet resources, please do so, but do not copy and paste. Make sure everything is written in your own words. And you have a good one.